All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Health Detective Podcast by Functional Diagnostic Nutrition. My name is Evan Transu, aka Detective Ev, and I will be your host for today's show. And this is actually quite timely. This was not intentional, but if you kind of do like a 50 or a 100th episode, those are always milestones. And so this is very relevant. This is episode 350 of the Health Detective Podcast, which is insane that they've kept me with a platform for this long, but some surviving. So I clickbait you a little bit, but you won't be mad at me. So the clickbait of this title obviously was an FDN conference. I had to do it that way so that you guys would watch this because I promise you're going to love it. But no, it is not an FDN conference in the way that we did pre-pandemic, to be clear. FDN is not the host of it, but FDN is the main sponsor of this event. And I mean, it's basically hosted by people who live and breathe FDN. So you guys have this person before. His name's Jeremy Malecha. I actually won't even go into a formal bio today. This is going to be a little bit of a different podcast. We're not going to sit here for 50 minutes. Unless you guys have questions, you're more than welcome to ask. In fact, I highly encourage that with this one. Please, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them, and we will go, if necessary, to that time frame. Otherwise, Jeremy and I are going to spend about 15, 20 minutes together. We're going to cover what the heck this conference is and why you want to be involved with it. Because for me, I actually I never got to go out to the FDN conferences when they were in person before the pandemic. And so if you guys don't know about them, basically FDN did host these about 300 person conferences, usually in San Diego, I think actually exclusively in San Diego. And this is the next best thing. So Jeremy Malecha is the husband of Jen Malecha, a name you guys might be a little bit more familiar with. Jeremy's also the founder of Biocanic, and Jen Malecha got me into FDN. So he is hosting a conference in San Diego in October, and we're going to break down all the details. So Jeremy, first, welcome back to the show, and congrats on taking on this endeavor, because I don't know if these people get this. This is like one of the biggest projects you can do in business, in my opinion. So props to even going for it.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me on, Evan. Really appreciate it. Yeah, we're super excited to do the conference. So Hix is our community brand. So it's the Health Intelligence Exchange. And this is really about building network and connections across like-minded individuals and helping practitioners get the tools and support they need to go out and be successful in their businesses, whether it's just getting started or whether they want to scale up to the next level. And so our whole focus with this conference is about practitioner empowerment. So all of the content being delivered is going to be from practitioners to practitioners about both the clinical side, but then how do you package, price, promote it? And what are the mistakes people have made along the way? And so ultimately our goal is for practitioners to show up on Thursday, start meeting with people, and by Monday they have 100 new followers on their social media. They have all the tools and confidence they need to go out and launch their next level program on that Monday. And so really it's intended to be a high energy event, really build the community and the support for our practitioners, and hopefully drive just immense success for everybody that shows up.
That's awesome. Sandra, I saw you in the chat saying good afternoon. Cloudy skies in Vancouver, Canada. Welcome to you. It's a little more than cloudy here in my first North Carolina hurricane since moving, so a lot going on. Jeremy, I wanted to ask, though, with this conference in particular, and by the way, if you guys are listening, stay for the next 10 minutes or so. We have a discount that is only available for FDN, so definitely something you'll want to take advantage of if you'd like to meet all of us in person and hang out in San Diego. I wanted to ask, because I actually genuinely don't know this, why now? Because again, a conference is one of the hardest things that someone could undertake. So I don't know if you and Jen are just bored. I doubt it's that. So why now do you want to do this?
Well, it's something that we've been talking about for a long time. And one of the challenges, so I've been a sponsor and a vendor at many different events for the past, 4 or 5 years. One of the problems that we saw as a vendor was there's great clinical conferences like PLMI and IFM and IHS, the ones that we go to, and you get great clinical education. Then there's like business mastermind, but nobody actually brings the two of them together. And oftentimes practitioners feel overwhelmed that, okay, I've got all this great clinical information, but what do I do with it? How do I actually leverage and use it? And then on the business side, it's a very kind of abstract conceptualization. And so what we really wanted to do, and there's a real need, is for practitioners to be able to have the tools to go out and be confident and be successful. So for example, if you want to go out and do a men's health optimization program, what does that look like? What tests should you run? How should you package, price, and promote it? What's your messaging? Who's your target avatar? And then how do you actually turn your clinical expertise and your passion around helping individuals into a business? And that it's called the clinical application gap. I think Jen tries to trademark that. But how do you take the clinical and apply it so that both you can help other people be healthy and successful, but then also how can you also make money while doing it? And that's where we really want to focus that this conference on.
So it sounds like it'd be an amazing thing. Like, let's say I just graduated from a health coaching certification or from FDN, doesn't have to be FDN. But if I did go from there, it sounds like it's a great place. So let's say I'm an experienced practitioner, that's 5 or 10 years in. Could I still hope to gain direct knowledge from the conference speakers themselves? Because I know about the networking side and we can touch on that afterwards, but would the content still be helpful for someone that's more experienced in business?
Yeah, absolutely. So all of our speakers come from different individual applications, right? So you have somebody like my wife, Jen, who still works one-on-one with individuals and helps people kind of build programs, 50 to 100 people, those types of things. And then we have Sinclair Canelli. She has 100,000 people in her contact list, runs these massive events, right? And so if you are a practitioner and you're like, hey, look, I'm tired of one-on-one, I'm a little burnt out, I want to build and launch an online program. What does that blueprint look like for me to get to that level where I can now really practice with freedom and get out of the one-on-one and get into a group program world? And so this is really where you can learn how Sinclair has built that following, how she services huge group programs with her Rapid Liver Reset, and then brings them into her high ticket one-on-one program, right? So that's the tactical application. And so we're trying to have different thought tracks for different people, right? Not everybody wants to have a massive following or a huge social media reach. They may just want to run, I like, running quarterly programs with 50 people and I'm going to charge $2,000 a person, right? Yeah. Well, what does that look like? What is the test that you're going to run? How do you run that group program? How do you pull it together? And then how do you really message that to attract your ideal audience? And so we want to bring all of those components together into a tangible and action set for each individual practitioner, no matter where they're at.
Awesome. And then I'll go back to the networking side because, guys, if nothing else, I mean, I say this to our graduates all the time, the ones that are maybe, they're not Jen, right? And they're struggling with the business side. They struggle putting themselves out there. And I'm like, guys, people cannot buy your services if they don't know that you exist. So that's one thing. You got to put yourself out there for that reason. But then number two, and everyone's heard this since they were a kid. Oh, it's not, what you know, it's who you know. Well, that's not quite true. It's a little bit of both, but certainly who you know helps. You guys have to think about this. I'm the epitome of this being true because Jen Malecha, me going out to California, taking the risk. My friend and I had literally $1,200 combined, and we drove his 2009 Ford Taurus across this damn country. And we lived in the car sometimes. We lived in Airbnb sometimes if we could afford it. And we find Jen. And because of that one person, I am somehow sitting here on the podcast, or standing, actually, I'm at my standing desk, on the podcast, now interviewing her husband 7 years later. I mean, I'm not saying every person you meet's that extreme of an example, but come on, you get one person that's correct in your life. That can be the difference between you making $50K a year and $200K a year. It could be the difference between you not having health and having your health restored. So that you got to get around the right people, and the people that show up to these things are the right people. Jackie's also the right person, but she's showing up here. She said, hello, everyone. Jackie at Fort Myers, Florida. Jackie, did you guys get hit with the hurricane? I'm drawing a blank as to whether or not Fort Myers would have gotten hit with this. So let me know. You know where they don't have hurricanes often? San Diego, California. So Jeremy, tell us when and where is the event?
So it's going to be October 17th. So it'll be evening cocktail reception on Thursday, the 17th. And then it's going to be all day, the 18th and 19th. We're going to be in beautiful Mission Bay in San Diego. October, fingers crossed, is generally a great time of year to be out there. So we are encouraging people to come out. It is a really great space to build your network, connect with other people, meet other people in the industry that perhaps could be podcast guests. You could be a guest on their podcast, create your followership, create those connections so that when you do have those posts, you now have friendly faces that are liking, subscribing, and retweeting all of your great content. And so it's all about really building that community and connection in October, and then hopefully giving people just, rocket fuel to go out and be excited about executing, in their businesses in whatever track their aspirations are.
Yeah, and if you guys are on video with us, if you're on the audio, don't worry about this, but I'm gonna share this really quick. I had to check this place out, man. So
Mhm.
if you've never been to Mission Bay in San Diego, holy cow, man! Some people out there living good. This is the hotel in the area we'll be at. What this doesn't represent is that I think I looked this up, Jeremy. I think this is 1.2 miles from the beach. There's actually a trail where you can walk there, so you could start your day off by going to the beautiful San Diego beaches, Mission Beach, actually, and you could
Yep.
walk right back. So just check the pictures out and look at all that stuff. Now, one thing I'm always worried about if I'm considering a conference, especially as a
Mhm.
layperson, is okay, man, I'd love to go, but man, I'm in the midst of my healing journey. What about gluten free? What about dairy free? I get so overwhelmed traveling. I just don't feel like I can do this. This is ran by people who have been through this themselves. So, can you talk about,
Yeah.
because I know it seems small, but it's big to us, man. Can you talk about the attention to detail that you guys have with the food that's going to be served at this conference?
Yeah. So one of my major pet peeves is going to quote unquote health conferences and the food just being, muffins and fruit and, sugar filled yogurt, right? So all the food will be labeled gluten free, organic, soy free, dairy free. Well, not necessarily dairy free. You'll have the option to add dairy if you choose to do so. But very, very forward related to making sure that we have the right food and the options there as well. We have a lot of great sponsors that are going to provide their samples as well. So Keto Brains, if you guys are familiar with their neurotropic creamer, which is an MCT oil based creamer, also organic. So a lot of really cool stuff that we'll be bringing together as a part of this experiential learning. Additionally, we're also going to have Therasage there. So if you've never done an ice bath before, they're going to have their products there, saunas, red light therapy. We have InBody there. You can get your whole body composition tested and really understand kind of the full gamut of everything that is possible in a fully kind of immersive experience. And, like any of these great conferences, you have the opportunity to get out, get fresh air. All of our networking tables is going to be outside. So it's going to be a really fun experience. And it's also, you're not going to be trapped in a room. We're going to have plenty of networking time, plenty of time to connect with everybody, get daylight, get sunshine in a really great and beautiful place at the Dana Inn.
Awesome. And just so you guys know, if you've never been to San Diego, it meets the stereotype. Like, this is like one of the meccas of health. So even if you have to get another meal outside of the conference, it's like, which place do you choose? It's not, are there options, right? Like gluten
Yeah.
free, people know about it there. Trust me. So I actually can see, I don't know if Jeremy can see that. Someone actually scanned the QR code. I just shared it. So that is where you can find the website for Hix. We do have an exclusive code for this. It's HDP, all caps, HDP 200. And that was very generous because it allows you to get $200 off either ticket. So you have the general admission and the VIP, which, Jeremy, I'd love to break out those options next. Because listen, the main bulk of a conference, guys, if you just even show up, that's always going to be 90% of everything. But there are bonuses from joining the higher tier things. And thankfully, as FDN staff, or I guess certain FDN staff, we have the privilege of being able to actually show up and enjoy some of the VIP stuff. So I'm super excited about that. Could you talk about, please, the main difference between the general admission ticket and the VIP ticket?
Yeah. So the VIP ticket, well, first and foremost, it does have a Friday night sunset cruise, dinner cruise that'll go through Mission Bay and around there. So that is a really cool experience. So you'll be able to connect in a more intimate environment with the speakers in a very cool experience. If you've never done a sunset cruise in San Diego, it's really great because it's usually nice, great sunshine, and you get to cruise around the bay. But then there are bonus offers, like we're including Thea CGM with a VIP ticket. So that is, the whole purpose is experiential learning. If you haven't worn a CGM, great way to do a VIP ticket. And then when you're seeing Thea and you're talking to them about their presentation, about how to package, price, and promote it, now you'll be able to actually see your data in real time. We've also partnered with Precision Analytical, Diagnostic Solutions, Berkeley Life to provide discounted testing so that you can actually run your own tests and bring those to the conference as a part of that learning experience as well. And so that's included as some of the VIP bonus bundles as well.
That's awesome. I was actually thinking about how fair it was because the price difference. I'm like, holy crap! You get the dinner, the CGM. Like that's actually a really fair deal, in my
Yeah.
opinion. In fact, like that's one of the better VIP things I've ever seen. Now, I'm guessing though, is there a limit on the amount of people that can do the Sunset Cruise? So is that something that if
That,
they want to do that, they should get on top of it quick?
that is correct. We only have 100 VIP tickets.
Okay.
300 total tickets available. So if you are interested in doing VIP, definitely get that locked in because we will sell out. There's only so much room on the boat before we have to throw people overboard.
Yeah, it's a true story. I'm actually recruiting two friends from this area. I've been trying to push them. I'm like, I've been selling them with the boat specifically.
Right.
Like nothing else that'll get them, man. Everyone gets excited about that. So
Yeah.
I think this is so cool that you guys are doing this. As you guys know, if you listen regularly, yes, I'm a hypey person. That's why I'm a podcast host. But I never lie or flatter. I don't think that's the way to do things. Jeremy and Jen are just two of they deliver on everything that they say they're going to do times five. So I can only imagine how amazing this conference is going to be. I feel so privileged to get to experience this from the perspective of an FDN staff member. So if you guys don't like me, don't worry. There's going to be Reed Davis out there. He has a presentation, I believe. We have Elizabeth Gaines, our course supervisor. She's going to be there. Lucy McKellar, executive director of AFDNP. Brandy Busco, our COO, is coming in from Canada. So we have so much of the main crew of the FDN staff joining us there at Hix. So if you ever wanted to get to meet some of us in person or hang out, this is the time. I don't know if this is fair to put this on you live, Jeremy, because I don't know if you have estimates for this. If you had to guess, and let's guess conservatively, because you guys know a lot of people, roughly what percentage of the 300 tickets are you expecting to be FDN trainees or graduates?
Well, I know Reed has a pretty aggressive target, but we expect at least 100 FDNs.
Okay.
Of the attendees, and then we have all of our other kind of broader network from different allied health professionals, including MDs, DOs, chiropractors as well. So it'll be a really good mix, good exposure, and even thinking about an FDN that may or may not want to be an entrepreneur, but may want to go work with a functional medicine clinic that operates virtually. There's going to be a lot of great networking opportunities. So if you're not familiar, Dr. Tracy Gapin Institute, he hires almost exclusively FDNs to work in his clinic. He's expanding to a number of different models. He'll be presenting on his model. So if you are thinking about, connecting with some of the other places where, hey, I want to work part-time and I want to do specific health coaching under a different organization, it's going to be a great opportunity to kind of have those connections as well. So don't think about it as fully just being solopreneur focused. It's really going to be about kind of really building up this industry and pushing it forward and giving people the tools and ability to be successful in whatever way that looks like.
Right. Obviously, if you guys are just getting started with your businesses, maybe you're trying to figure out, all right, how do I do the finances behind this? So I'm a nut with travel. I'll help you guys with that. One, the tickets, you just got to figure that out. We're giving you a $200 discount. That's easy. The flights. So American Airlines, really big in a lot of airports and goes to San Diego. If you can't, you got to make this event. So if you can't figure it out financially, you want to know my honest to God advice is take out one of their damn credit cards. It gives you 50,000 points. That's going to cover your round trip. You might not be first class this time, but that's all right. There's levels to it. So you get your 50,000 points. You spend like $2,000 on it within the first 3 months. You got your ticket to San Diego. Bam, done. The Dana Hotel is obviously going to offer, I'm guessing, some special rates. Yep. So what is it per night for people to do the Dana Hotel?
Ooh, I believe you caught me off guard. I think it's something on the order of 260 a night.
Okay.
There are limited number of rooms in the room block, but San Diego is a vacation town. So if you are really budget constrained, I'm sure there's going to be opportunities for people that'll do, say, VRBOs and want to be looking for roommates as well. So I would encourage everybody to just stay connected, through the AFDNP Facebook page. There's no shortage of places around here that can be budget friendly as well.
I was just about to say, if you are an FDN trainee or graduate watching this, right, and you're in the trainee group or AFDNP, literally do me a favor, tag me right after you watch this. I'm totally fine with that. In a post, say, hey, looking for a partner, because I was actually thinking that, Jeremy, like the Airbnb game in San Diego is freaking awesome, by the way. There's some really cool ones. So, and they're close. So you can get ones on Mission Beach, before they all sell out, and we can get you paired up, help you out to get you there. I really wish I had planned this better, Jeremy, because it's always been one of my dreams ever since I went there last time. I'm like, how do I rent out? This is insane, but one of those Airbnbs that they do in La Jolla Cove. And I'm like,
yeah.
if I just get 20 FDNs to all like sleep on top of each other, we could live in a $30 million home for a weekend. So we're not promising that, but we can get you hooked up with other people doing the Airbnb. So all in, guys, between the hotel, if you milk the travel and flights, like I said, with some points, and you do the ticket with the discount, I mean, you're not even talking about $2,000 to make this happen. You got to be able to figure these things out to progress in your business. The final thing I'll ask you then, if I may, Jeremy, if you any questions from the audience, please feel free to ask. This is the last chance. Jeremy, though, I'll ask you, who are like, and it's not that it's a competition. Everyone has their preference. So out of all the speakers, though, you don't have to say Reed. In fact, don't say Reed, because then it won't seem biased one way or another. Who are like the top 2 speakers that you're most excited about, and what will their topics be?
Yeah. So there's 2. Wow. All of them I'm excited about. So one, I just we just did the promo video for Dr. Carrie Jones. Everybody knows who Dr. Carrie Jones is, the fertility for the hormone expert. Her presentation is going to be a lot different. If you've ever seen her speak, she's always talking about hormone pathways, perimenopause, menopause. She's actually going to be talking about her own individual journey as a professional. So it's going to be her 20-year experience, starting as a naturopath all the way through to working for labs and supplement companies, how she built her followership to almost 200,000 followers. And it's going to be everything that she learned along the way. So I think and she's super excited to do it because she's never actually been able to just talk about her own individual journey over time. And, it's like, she's like literally said, I'm like, I hope that I can give my 20 years of experience so that people can do it in 2. Right. And so that's going to be really cool. And then the other one that's interesting that people may not recognize is Charbel Zariq. So he is a private equity investor. He had his own individual health journey, and then he started his own investment firm in functional holistic health. So he's got about 5 different investments. The most recent one being acquiring DHA Laboratory.
Oh, wow.
So he's a huge mindfulness advocate. And so he teaches at the Wharton Business School. So he's going to be talking about business fundamentals as an entrepreneur or a business owner, how he looks at that from an investment standpoint. But then he's also going to talk about the importance of maintaining mental health and well-being. And so he's going to give his 5 different individual kind of key components of how you can build a business, how you need to think about it. Because most people, like, hey, I want to go start being an online health coach. What do I do? Right. So you have to think about financials and structure, but then also how do you maintain? You're going to get anxiety, imposter syndrome, and how do you work through that? So I'm really excited to bring him on. And then most people know Sinclair, but Dr. Halen Chen, he's one of the world's foremost longevity experts. If you've had your eyes open in the last 3 months, the longevity space is absolutely going gangbusters, from NMN to injections and PRP and stem cells. And he's on the cutting edge of everything. He works with very high net worth individuals. So he has access to every cool tip and trick in the world. And modality. And so he's going to be closing it out, talking about what the longevity space looks like and what the future is kind of coming down the path from those really kind of, nuanced approaches to longevity medicine.
Awesome. Jeremy, thank you so much. I don't want to say I don't get excited for conferences anymore because I love going for FDN, but when I always go for business, it kind of burns you out. And I think all the staff would recognize that. This is just so different to me. I'm so excited to get to know the hosts at the level that I do. Obviously, Jen especially has been such an important thing for our family, and what she's done for myself and my mom is just next level. So I'm so excited to be there with you guys. Guys, please make this work. Figure out a way to get there. I don't know that another FDN conference, a literal FDN conference, is happening anytime soon. This is literally the next best thing. I have never seen anywhere close to 100 FDNs in one place outside of the conference. But again, I wasn't there at that one. So the idea that that's the goal, I mean, even if we hit half of that, to be around 50 other people that are in the same certification as you, graduated, pursuing the same things, you have no idea how fast that can make your life a lot better than it is right now. So, Jeremy, any final thoughts, or do we touch on all the main stuff today?
No, we're just really excited to have everybody here. The discount code does end at the end of the month. So definitely make sure you get that in because the prices will go up on September 1st. But we're really excited to connect. And, in case it hopefully goes without saying, you don't have to be a Biocanic user to be here. We're just a sponsor like everybody else. but this is really about creating that network and empowering practitioners to be successful in their business in whatever form that takes.
All right, awesome. Get